Good morning, everyone. We are so happy to be here, but we want to apologize because we had some technical difficulties. And when I say we, I mean I'm Jasmine.
And I'm Alex.
And we're Galaxy. Either way, with technology, we always run into mishaps, but we are improvising now. And today we're going to be talking about some sweet tools and tips for coaching. And I want to start off by talking about Outlook or your email. So this portion will be entitled A Different Outlook. So on your online version, and it's important that you know that it's online, you want to go to your mail. Okay, now what you see here is a regular old email, but I want you guys to have a different outlook on Outlook. From your email account, what you can do is create groups. And what these groups are good for as an instructional coach or instructional technology coach or as a Vanguard member within the people that you are mentoring is very good to create PLCs. And what this feature allows you to do is to go down and create groups. So if you go here, if you notice my screen, I have a number of groups already created. So I have a number of groups already created. So don't judge me, but the reason why these groups are created is because I have a group for each of the grade levels that I am currently supporting at Fellwood Elementary. And what I want to do is show you how to actually create the groups and what you can do. So in order to create the group, you want to go to this plus sign. And once you click on the plus sign, you will then see whether you want to create a standard group or a professional learning community group, a PLC, which is the ones that I've created to my left. You click on next, you choose a name. I'm just going to say Vanguard Test. And as you notice that once you put Vanguard Test, then it starts to create a group ID for you. So you can stay with this one or you can create your own. So I just want to name it Vanguard Strong. So you go to the little pencil thing to edit it. And then we're just going to name it Vanguard Strong. Because we're strong. Yep. And then that becomes our email address. You can put in a little description if you want to. You don't have to. And then you go up here and you click Create. So once you create the group, this is where you will go ahead and add members. When I was creating my PLC groups, I did not add my members right away. There were some things that I wanted to put in there. So when I did invite them to the group, they were able to already have some resources at hand. So I'm going to say not now. So now what this does is it now creates a small collaboration space for you and just those members. It tells you how many members are up here. It gives you a nice welcome. It gives you a SharePoint and things of that nature. Here's where you can have ongoing conversation. And if you wanted to add a new conversation and you just wanted to say, welcome to the Galaxy. That's what we are. Excuse us, we want to be proper here. But anyways, this is where you would then send the message. It will be in the group. So once the members come in, they will also have a welcome for you. Also, you have where you can create files. So you go and my computer is going a little slow. That's okay. So here you can create different files. You can add a new file. Once you click on new, You have all of your different Office Suite tools that you can create here. As you can see, there's also a OneNote. You can upload certain files, so if there's some important information that you already have, you can do that. If you want to do quick edits, they're here, and sync, they're here. It's all, everything that you need for your PLC is right here. Now I'm going to go back to my tab here, and I was in Files, but if you want to do Calendar, you also have a calendar that is very specific to just that group. So if you notice here, I have my regular calendar. Here I have my Fairwood support calendar, and I'm showing my Vanguard test group calendar. So there's a calendar that's just specific to those that are in the group, and you also can cross-reference your calendar with the other calendars that you have at the time. That way you don't overbook or overlap anything. You're able to see everything that you need to see. Here is the OneNote notebook that's just specific for this particular group. So the good thing about the OneNote notebook is that you can put the different resources in there, and Alice is going to share more about what you can do as far as OneNote, but I just wanted to point out that you do have access to a OneNote binder, a OneNote notebook that is specific to the actual PLC you just created. And this is what it looks like. So then you have where it says PLC norms. You can create that there so everybody knows. PLC roles, PLC SMART goals, a plan. Everything that you have is really already outlined in this particular notebook. My internet is running a little slow, not sure of why, but we're just going to make it work. So let's go back to, I'm going to get out of here, and we're going to take it back to the actual PLC that we created. And yeah, let's go back to conversations. All right, so we're back here. Another thing that I want to just hit on really quickly is that there is another app. If you go to, if I'm not mistaken, Microsoft Task. But with the task, if you already have groups created, now within your groups, you can allot certain tasks. So if there's a large task that you guys have to work on or tackle, you can assign different parts to the task, and if we have a little more time, then maybe we can get to it. You think I should go to it, Alex?
I say show them.
Okay.
So open a new tab maybe.
Yeah. Let's try to show you guys what I'm talking about. Tasks.
Tasks.
Office.com. Says Microsoft Planner. You gotta sign in. Now let's hope that I remember my password because it takes me a few times. Oh, it goes right in. So if you see, I've already, all of the groups that I've created, all of the PLCs I've created are now here. So if you go into the Vanguard group that we created, if you notice here that you have a different board that you could put things on, you can create a task. So type a task name, Vanguard Test. And then you can add that particular task is here. And then you want to add an assignment. So
and you can only do one person at a time now on this, but hopefully that will change soon that you can add more people to a task at a time.
Right. So what she said. But yeah, so you can these are the assigned members. Of course, I'm the only one in at the time, but this is where you will go and you will put in those email addresses of those people who are already there, and they would show up if they're already in the group. But then you can set your due dates to your task and things of that nature. Of course, there's the notebook again. You have your charts, so you can see that I have not started my task yet, or based on the due date, you can see if I'm late, or what am I doing at the time. You can see if I'm in progress or if I complete it. And I think this is a great accountability piece for yourself and for others. But I just really think it's a really good tool and a really good feature to use when you're talking about coaching. So if we have some ILTs out there, instructional learning teachers or grade level chairs, if you're trying to be more proficient in your coaching, I think that using these small PLC groups along with the task feature is something that would be very, very beneficial to you and your work. And if you want any more tips and tools when it comes to these features, please feel free to reach out to me and we will give them to you. Now, over to my boo.
Hello. My name is Alex, and I'm going to show you building resources. We said OneNote at a time. So I use OneNote very often at Bear Creek as an instructional technology specialist, and you as Vanguard members can use it very much so with your coaching. I like using the OneNote because everything is in one place. It's digital. It's accessible by others. So I'm just going to go over a couple things to think about while you are creating a OneNote resource binder. So the first thing is to consider your notebook setup. So for me, I was thinking about things that I knew my teachers needed access to or would want access to. So I picked, and I know you probably can't see the total name right here, but I'll just let you know. We have Lessons in Learning, Microsoft, because that's a huge thing at my school, Personalized Learning, TIM, and Websites. And as I go, I tend to add things, but this is the setup that I thought was appropriate at that time. So I started with this. Then within each, I have my different pages. Internet's a little slow today. In any event, so I have lesson planning, and actually these are different sections. So I have lesson planning, and then I just go through and I add my different pages. These are sub-pages. You can't tell on the online version, but once you go on the desktop version, you'll see that there are sub-pages.
Maybe you should go on the desktop version.
I can show you. If I want to go to the desktop version from here, I click this Edit in Microsoft OneNote, and I like the desktop version better because you have more functionality within that. So I always like to say, remember my choice, because that way I don't have to do that every single time. And then I launch the application. It's going to automatically open OneNote for me. And it's going to take a minute to load simply because I have a lot of information. If you see this with this shield, go ahead and click yes. Fulton County gave us this stuff so we can use it. And just to keep in mind when you have a lot of information that's uploading, especially if you do class notebooks, which you could use very, very easily for coaching, that if you have a lot of information and a lot of people within that, don't stress if the syncing takes quite a while. That's very typical. So as it's loading, my next suggestion is to take note of interests and questions. So I do this thing that, and I got this from another coach. I call it Stock and Talk. And so what I do is I walk around and I just go to teachers. I go to their classrooms. I ask them how their day is going, and I start to talk to them, and I just discover what is it that interests them, what questions they have about technology. And those are the things that I use to create this notebook. And that's why it's an ever-growing notebook. It's never stagnant, never stays one way or the other. So always make sure you've got your ears open and you're listening to what it is that they're talking about. So over here, as I was saying, these are sub-pages. So my main page here, and you can't see it, but there's a little arrow pointing up. If I click that, it collapses all my pages, my sub-pages under 9 events and instruction. And then I have my different sub-pages. So all you do is click on them, and then to make a sub-page, you literally, whoops. So you can move it over. It's not letting me do it right now, but all you have to do is you move it over and it becomes a sub-page. All right, so in here I have lesson planning, Epson board, because that's something that's central to the classrooms, and then books worth reading, because some teachers and I were talking about different books that they wanted to read. All right, so if I go back up, you can see my welcome screen. So on my welcome screen, I gave my email address, I have Twitter, I'm on Flipboard, and then I created a Calendly link. And that's actually a really great resource that you can use. So Calendly, it's free to do one set amount of time. So I picked 45 minutes that people can schedule time with me. And then if you go to your, do you have it on yours?
Yes, I do.
If you go to, right here. If you go to your Microsoft main page, and